So the context that we're working from here is that you're in some kind of an altercation that hasn't come to blows yet, right? I feel threatened by this person in front of you, but I don't know whether or not they're going to attack yet. Everybody follow?
Yes, sir.
Now first, always pay attention to body language first. Somebody ever approaches you in a bladed stance, this is an aggressive posture. My body's already in position where I can throw a powerful shot. Standing like this, and even if things are a little bit tense, there's like words being exchanged here, right? He's gonna wind up, he's gonna move that shoulder back before he throws a punch. Make sense? Now the kind of reaction that he would want is either I just stay right here, that puts me right in the place for him to throw a hard shot, or maybe I see that wind up and I move back, and he can just follow, and then the next one, and then the next one. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but something that can be an effective way to defend yourself in a situation like this is you actually move forward, you crash into them. Does that make sense? To suffocate the punch, make it harder for him to hit you with a good shot. And it's a good thing for you guys to understand, right? This concept of critical distance. You don't want to be in the danger zone, which is about where I'm standing right now. I either want to be farther out where it's going to be difficult for him to hit me, or I want to be closer in where it's going to be difficult for him to hit me with a good shot. And we're going to use some examples from our forms of how you can deal with this. First, Nahachi, my favorites. From this position, he winds up. I fill that space. Does everybody see? In that position, and follow up. Again, he winds up, fill that space. See how I'm sticking to his far shoulder? Because he's going to be throwing that punch. He might even be hitting me with it, right? But I'm positioning myself in a place where it's going to be hard for him to do a lot of damage with it. When I see an opportunity, I throw a better shot. Kunzan-kun, where I make that wedge, put my head between my arms. So again, he throws that punch, and I'm moving in there and angling off to the side. And from here, a lot of things. Anybody have any questions? So to start off, we're going to do it very simply, just like that. For chest to chest, he winds up, move in to a clinch. And from here, we can throw a couple shots, right? Try to touch my head. Right, I'm going to stay in and maybe throw the technique. And then it's his turn. So on and so forth. Anybody have any questions? The real principle at work here is the crash, is that I'm moving in close. I see some of you doing something like this, where he goes to punch, and you're leaving your head up and just trying to block. And then some of you are kind of staying out here, and maybe you're moving in. The problem with that is that he's not really trying to take my head off with this punch. Just give me a little bit more on it, like really try to touch my head. Everybody see how that goes right through? And once again, he's still not punching as hard as he can. The arms are secondary here. The defense is that. I'm putting my head in a position where it's difficult for him to hit it. And the secondary part of that is I'm also putting my arms in the way to suppress and keep his arms out. Everybody follow?
Sure.
So I really need you to think about it like that. From here, you see that wind up. You see that wind up, head in from that position. Try again for a minute. Just really want you guys to appreciate the importance that range has to play here. When you change the range, you really change everything about the engagement. Does that make sense to everybody? And we train at different ranges, right? A lot of the karate practice that we do is done at a longer range. A lot of what we see in the traditional forms is much closer. Make sense to everybody? Right? And it's much more relevant to self-defense for this reason. You're already up close. You're already in close quarters, what they say, right? You don't have a lot of space to move around. You don't have a lot of way to fight the way that we normally do. So it happens really fast, and you got to get in. Make sense? But let's just make it a little bit more continuous. So what we're going to do here is just use open hands, right? And this is to simulate punches, right? As you can see, you can still hurt someone hitting with an open hand. So I'm still not putting a lot of power on it. But the point is that even if I'm touching with my knuckles, even if it's light like that, it's unpleasant pretty quick. Make sense to everybody? So we're gonna start exactly the same. I see that wind up, I fill the space and I go in, but he just doesn't need to stop here. He's gonna keep punching, right? See that? It's just touching my head, right? And you can try to switch arms and so on. And we talked about this a little bit, I think, a couple of weeks ago. It's an important concept to understand. If all you have is a hammer, every problem is a nail. It's a really serious thing to do to hit somebody. And there are a lot of situations in which I probably would choose just to control them if I can until help arrives. Make sense to everybody? I don't have to hurt someone, I'm not going to. Make sense? Obviously, there are other situations that are more serious than that, right? Where maybe there isn't help that's going to be coming right around the corner, where I'm going to have to fight. I'm going to have to defend myself in a more drastic way. But I want you guys to understand that aspect of the clinch work that we do here. It gives you more options, and there are many, many situations where just having the ability to clinch up with someone and control them is a really good option for you to have. Does that make sense? So he's going to be a little bit more continuous with the way that he strikes here. We start from the same position. If he's already bladed his stance, I wouldn't be standing here. I'm moving out, or if I can't move out, I'm already moving in. The moment he gives me that position, he's putting himself in a position where he can strike me. I'm not just going to stand there and let him strike me. For chest to chest, I'm going to have that brief warning. He winds up, I move in. And now the only difference between the other drills is just not going to stop here. He's going to keep throwing those punches. Got it? Serge? One more. Get to it. You know, it's the number one thing that can really throw you off. Applying your martial arts practically, right? If you're used to doing things in a very particular way. Make sense? All of my experience is fighting from out here. You develop a lot of good skills like this. Skills that can be practical, absolutely. But they're just not going to necessarily work for you in every situation you find yourself in. A lot of time it has to do with the environment. There's a reason why a karate school is a big, wide open space that's good for that. Make sense? But, you know, self-defense happens in different environments. Imagine, you know, you're just in a restaurant, you're in your living room, something like that, there's furniture around you, there's other people around you. His tendency is going to be a lot more close quarters. And when you think about violent criminals type of mentality, too, they're not going to like, let me wait to attack this person in a big wide open space where they have plenty of room to evade me. Doesn't make much sense, right? They're going to try to corner you somewhere where you can't get away. And that's where we see a lot in arts. And it's kind of interesting to think about. There's a lot of things in karate that don't make a lot of sense. Modern karate, people would say like the most basic kick often is your round kicks, right? Yet we don't see these in the traditional forms. And that probably has to do with the fact that round kicks, although you can actually apply them, we actually see this in Olympic Taekwondo. You actually can round kick somebody like that, right? Definitely. But it's a little awkward. It's definitely not the ideal range for that technique. And that's why the kicks that we do see tend to be like these stomping techniques. into the legs. Those kick makes a lot more sense. It's also why we see a lot of elbow strikes in the forms, close range, knee strikes in the forms, these close range techniques, takedowns in the forms. These are all things that are done when you're in gripping range. That's karate. Make sense to everybody?
Sure.
Any questions?